Hello, welcome back. We have got only a couple episodes left of this saga of the Chalice Dungeon expansion from the Bloodborne board game. So, who is it we're going to be doing today? Well, I think we're going to be doing the Beast-Possessed Soul, which is this Father Gascoigne beast-looking dude. So to begin painting, what are we going to do? It's going to be a clean jar of water and a jar for our dirty water. Whack out some kitchen roll to wipe off some excess paint. Pop some water onto your wet palette, get it nice and soaked. Get your sheet popped on and get all the wrinkles and kinks ironed out with a nice card or something of a similar flat, thin surface. Then we can take our raging beast-possessed soul and get him primed with some black, ready for some zenithal highlighting. Now we'll pop down a mat that doesn't matter if it gets messy or not. Grab our airbrush thinner, grab our airbrush cleaner, and we can begin highlighting. So I'll pop the thinner into the cup and mix in some Liquitex white ink. Get it mixed up by using the blowback technique, spray it for a test, and we can pop our beast onto our little makeshift handle and begin highlighting. So spraying from the top down, making sure we're getting a nice gradient from the bright to the dark. Also making sure that the highest point is the brightest and the lowest point is the darkest. Also making sure that the undersides aren't touched with the white, so it still retains that nice dark shadow. Perfect for contrast paints. So for our first contrast paint, we're going to be using some Snakebite Leather, which is our medium toned brown contrast paint. Perfect to add extra shadows and highlighting to. It's a really good medium to start basing a coat with. So over all of the fur that we have, it's just going to be all of this Snakebite Leather brown, making sure it's nice and thin as well so that all of the contrast paint runs into all the little textures and crevices, nooks and crannies. Every bit of texture that you can see that the fur is creating needs to be covered with the Snakebite Leather, or any other similar contrast paint that you think works. There's lots out there. I'm just using this. You don't have to use this as a reference. You can paint it however you like. This is just how I'm painting it. So there we go, that is our fur coat painted on, and we're now going to move on to our Storm Vermin fur, which is a really lovely fur colour, but I'm not going to use it on the fur just yet. I'm going to use it on the horns because it's a nice dull grey browny kind of tone, perfect for these horns that he has on his head. Great, and with the horns done, we can now grab some Bugman's Glow, which is a sort of like nice deep pinky fleshy kind of tone, and I'm going to paint them onto the parts where there aren't any fur. We've got the tops of the hands, we've got the palms of the hands, we've got the tops of the feet, backs of the feet. We've also got the face to paint in, making sure it's still quite thin so that it's not overpowering the shader that we have underneath, and we're still retaining some of that contrast within the colour. Terrific. So now the next colour we're going to use will be some Rakar Flesh, which is a nice washed out, bright, fleshy, Caucasian-y kind of tone. Perfect to be able to highlight our Bugman's Glow that we have underneath. So I'm just going to tickle it onto all the parts that are most upward facing, blend it out into the Bugman's Glow that will be within our shadows. So on the face, I'm focusing more on parts like the brow and the sort of like nose line and the sort of upper parts of the jaw, cheekbones. Then I can mix some white into the Rakar Flesh and just start emphasizing those highlights more so we start generating a bit more contrast between them. After that, we're going to move up into some Abaddon Black, which we're going to use to paint our little nose in. And also I'm going to use it to paint in the eyes that you can see that are really deep set within the face. And I'm also going to use it to paint in the sharp claws that he's got going on there. I'm going to go back to our Storm Vermin fur and I'm actually going to use it for the fur now. Like I have done with the other fur creatures in here, I'm basically just using different shades, mixing in some blacks and whites into the Storm Vermin fur, and just start dabbing it around, accentuating different parts of fur strands that are sticking out, different hairs, just trying to make it look not so uniform with one Snakebite Leather application. Then I'm just grabbing some more of the Corax White and just mixing it into those colours just so we get some more accentuated, brighter fur tones mixed in. And that's kind of the method that I follow when it comes to fur. I'm not the best at doing fur, but this is kind of what I find that I like to do. And that's what I find works best, so. Then my favourite coagulated blood, I can grab some of this and then just start dotting it around the body, making sure he is a blood-covered, gnarled beast that looks like he's just ripped something to absolute shreds. On the feet, on the knees, on the arms, on the face. basically just coating not the entire thing, but basically coating most of this beast in some blood also makes the fur look a bit more interesting if it's got some blood soaked into it. And that is pretty much how I painted my beast possessed soul. That's pretty much all there was to it. And yeah, that means we've only got 2 models left from the Chalice Dungeon expansion, which is pretty crazy. I can't believe I've managed to knock all these out in this time frame. But yeah, there we go. If you did enjoy today's episode, please be sure to drop this video a like, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment if you feel so inclined. If you do want to do any extracurricular supporting of this channel, you can head over to my Patreon, where I have lots of behind the scenes content of bigger projects that I do coming up. I often do polls on future projects that you can vote on if there are specific things that you want to see on this channel. You can ask me any questions, shoot me any messages. You also get first dibs on any sales that I do, and yeah, but if you don't want to do that, that's absolutely fine. I want to thank you enough just for being here and watching this video. And yeah, I'll see you next time for the penultimate Bloodborne expansion video. Bye bye.